Hey, what's up, everybody? And you might be wondering why I'm making this type of video for the weekend. That's not something that I typically do, but it is something that I want to change going forward. I want to be more active during the weekends, and I want to bring you all more videos for the weekends. For me, it's really just about finding the time to do this type of stuff. It feels like the older I've gotten, the more elusive time has become. It's funny how that works that way, but I do want to do more reviews, and I want to have more of these type of conversations that I don't typically get to talk about in my daily news updates. These type of videos are fun for me to do, and this is a topic that I've wanted to talk about for quite some time because it's something that I've personally been doing myself. I think most of you all kind of know that I'm a big fan of the Nintendo Switch. I think it's an incredible console with one of the best libraries that we've ever seen for any console ever made. I really think this is an amazing console. And that's why the title of this video might surprise some people. I'm telling you not to play new Switch games. But this isn't some kind of clickbait or anything like that. I'm 100% serious about this. So just kind of sit back and let me explain why you should think twice before playing a new Nintendo Switch game. So 2024, I'd say, has been a different type of year for the Switch. I think it's safe to say that. I think most of us kind of understands that its successor is right around the corner. This thing could be revealed at any moment now. My prediction is for early 2025, right around maybe February. That's my guess. And if rumors are to be believed, we could actually have it in our hands in early 2025 as well. I'm really crossing my fingers for that. I mean, if they make us wait until late 2025, that will seriously be deflating. But in the meantime, Nintendo has been going through this transitional year. They're not really putting out massive games per se, but they're still putting out some overall fun experiences. I actually really like the trend that they're going in with these GameCube ports. This is something that I've wanted to see for a very long time. Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, such an amazing game. Really glad to see that one return. But then there's also games like Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Mario and Luigi Brothership, and even Dragon Quest III HD 2D. Now, that's not really a Nintendo-developed game. That's a Square Enix game. But it is the type of game that Nintendo Switch fans enjoy. It's more than likely going to sell more copies on the Switch than any other platform. And even though I think these are high-quality games from a gameplay perspective, that's actually all the more reason that I'm making this video in the first place. You should absolutely think twice before playing any of these games specifically. And you're probably like, what in the world is this guy talking about? He says these are great games, yet don't play them? How does that even make any sense? And my reason for this is actually fairly simple. It's the reason that I've also paused my own experiences for these games. So I'm taking my own advice on this. I'm not just preaching something that I'm not doing myself. The problem is that all three of these games have performance problems on the Nintendo Switch. Now, not everybody will necessarily be bothered by these performance issues. It really just kind of depends on the person. But if you're somebody like me that notices these technical issues and it just hinders your overall experience, well, we do have one confirmation specifically from Nintendo for the Switch successor. We now 100% know that it is backwards compatible. Now, we don't necessarily know how its backwards compatibility layer will work, so there is some risk in what I'm telling you here. I can't guarantee this will happen, but theoretically, there is a good chance that its extra power could potentially brute force a lot of these Switch games that have technical issues. Suddenly, games like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which has major problems, or Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, could suddenly have a locked, consistent frame rate. And it's that game, Echoes of Wisdom, when I made this decision for myself. I mean, let me just kind of be clear about this. What I've played of Echoes of Wisdom, it's a really good game. I'm not trying to knock it as a bad game. It's an excellent game. In fact, the top-down Zelda experiences have always held a special place in my heart. And while Echoes is a very different type of experience than the classic formula, I still enjoyed my time with it. However, it's hard to overlook its performance because if I'm being completely honest about it, it's just flat out bad. Like, I don't think there's any other way to describe Echoes of Wisdom. It has terrible performance. And it was at that time I just kind of thought to myself, why am I playing this game at a subpar experience? For me, because I do enjoy it, I want to enjoy it at its best and in its most optimal way. I don't want any kind of hindrance. So I decided right then, I'm not going to play these new Switch games that have performance issues. Now, I might tinker around with them for the channel, but I'm not going to complete them until the Switch successor comes out next year. In the meantime, I can simply just play other games, and when the time comes, I can return to these Switch games on the successor and potentially have an even better experiences with, most importantly, no annoyances. That's the big thing for me. And you never know. If you decide not to buy them right now, you could actually get them on discount before the Switch successor releases. So you win in two different ways in that case. Again, though, and I do want to emphasize this, I keep using the word potentially because I can't guarantee anything. We don't actually know how the Switch 2's backwards compatibility works. We just know that it does have backwards compatibility. But theoretically, yes, it could improve games that has inconsistent frame rate. On the other side, they could also play exactly as they do now. Now, that would surprise me, but if the Switch 2 really does release in the early part of 2025, I mean, we should have our answer relatively soon. So for the fans that have patience to play these games, they're the ones that might have the best experiences. There's also an off chance, and this is a little bit less likely, but there is a chance that we could see some backwards compatible games with Switch 2 enhancements. Think about how the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X have been positioned. They've pushed out various upgrades for backwards compatible games. And there was even a leak from last year that claimed that Nintendo showcased Breath of the Wild running on the Switch successor with better resolution and things like that. So that almost kind of tells me that they've at least experimented with enhancements for the Switch successor. Now, will they make it some kind of paid upgrade? Will they sell it as a Switch 2 remaster? Or will it instead be handled on a system level? That all remains to be seen. But even if we look at something like the PlayStation 5 Pro, one of the big things about that console is Sony's new AI technology, PSSR. And one of the cool things that Sony did with PSSR is that they used that for PlayStation 4 boost mode. Essentially, it just kind of cleans up its image for PS4 games by upscaling the resolution. And one advantage that Nintendo has is their partnership with NVIDIA. They are the only mainstream NVIDIA-based console, and that means they're the only ones that have access to NVIDIA DLSS. Now, if you're unaware, NVIDIA DLSS is the absolute best AI upscaling technology on the market. This could be a real game changer for them, and there is a chance that they could use DLSS to improve backwards compatible games. Suddenly, Xenoblade could be a lot more clear with the use of DLSS in higher resolution. Now, I'm not telling you to wait to play those games, but if you haven't already, honestly, it might be worth waiting to just kind of see what Nintendo says about the Switch successor and how its backwards compatibility works. Until then, though, I thought I'd at least put this video out in the wild and have a discussion about it. But let me know what you all think about this. I mean, this is only my opinion. Doesn't mean that you have to agree with me, and you might feel just completely different. Let me hear that in the comments below if you just think that I'm just completely off base here. So let me know if you're going to wait it out, or are you not bothered by these performance problems? If you're not, I mean, hey, more power to you. But that's it. Just a quick topic on my thoughts. And until next time, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and peace out.